Welcome back guys in this Unity Game Development tutorial series. My name is Krushil, the instructor of this course, and let's get started. So today we are going to learn about the primitive data types in the C# language, and C# language is basically used in Unity for programming. So there are basically 5 types of data types in C#, which includes integer, float, character, string, and boolean. So what is an integer? An integer is a whole number, or you can say a number which don't have any decimal point in it. For example, -1, -2, -24, 24, 0. This all comes in integer. So what is a float? It is a fractional value, like a number which contains a decimal point in it. It is known as a float. So suppose, for example, let's take 1.0. It can be a float. It is a float. And if we take 2.3, again it is a float, but 2, it comes in integer. So what is a character? A character is a special symbol, or you can see an alphabet or a number which is written between a single inverted comma, and it should contain only a single character. And what is a string? It is a sequence of character which is written between the double inverted commas, whereas the boolean is it gives you a binary value of 0 and 1. What is 0? It means false, and what is 1? It means true. So therefore boolean can only have two values, which is true or false. So with that said, let's get started with the coding part. So open a basic browser, web browser in your system, and let's get started. After opening the web browser, type in GDB compiler, and then you are going to get a link to a GDB compiler which says GDB compiler debugger. Click on that link, and now you have opened an IDE, an online IDE where you can code in with C#. So let's select a language as C#. And after selecting it, let's get started with the integer. So to create a variable which has a data type integer, you have to type in a syntax, that is int, and then name a variable. So you can get any type of any name to a variable. So let's get it, and num. So num would be our variable which has a data type integer, and let's assign a value 10 to it. So 10 has been assigned to the integer, which is a num, a variable. So now let's print that value of num into our console. So console.writeLine parenthesis, and within that parenthesis we need to type in num, and which will print our num's value over the console. So let's run the program. As you can see, we have got 10 as a value of num, because num has got a value of 10. Now let's try to do something else with this num variable. Let's try putting some 10 decimal number after a number after a decimal point. So let's give it .23. Now as you know, this is a float type, right? It has got a decimal value, whereas integer cannot have any kind of a decimal point in it, so it would give me an error if I run the code. As seen, an error has been generated. So to stop this error, what you have to do is convert this type into a float or a double. And if you are using float, you have to just type an F at the end of the number and then run it again. So as you can see, 10.23 has been printed. So float is a number which has got a decimal point in it. So let's start with a character. What is a character? So character uses if you want a variable to be of a data type character, you need to write a keyword char and then enter the variable name. So let's enter the variable name character, and now let's assign a value to it. So to assign a value, that value should be within a single inverted commas. So let's print a single inverted comma, and now enter any kind of a character in it. So let's enter $. So this is a character, and if we run this, then it would print a $sign over the console. Yeah, error has been generated because we have used num, which is not declared before. So we have to write over here character, because we have changed the variable name. So now it would print $. As you can see, $, has been printed over the console. Now if you put in a number 101, it is a number, right? 101, but it is not a character, because it has got two types of character in it, which is 1, 0 and 1, like 3 types, but the one is duplicated, right? So we count 1 as a single character only. So we have got two different characters, which is 1 and 0. But as I told you, a character should consist only one single character in it. So this would give you an error. See, too many characters in character literal. So if we type in only one in it, then it would run and one would be printed over the console. As you can see, one has been printed. And now if you want 101 to be printed, then you have to use string instead of the character. So to use the string, we need to write 101 within the double inverted commas. And let's change the variable name to str. str is our variable name, and the keyword for writing a string is string. So now if we print that, it won't work because we have to change it over here also. We have to write str in the console.write line syntax. Now if we run this code, we are going to get 101 as the console output. As you can see, we have got 101. Now if we type in a name, like my name is Crucial, and now if I run this code, it would print Crucial over the console. As you can see, Crucial has been printed. And now let's talk about the Boolean. So for Boolean, you need to write a keyword bool, and then let's enter a variable name. So let's take a variable name as b and assign a value true to it. So true should be in small, in lowercase, and then let's print that value over the console. So if we instead of str we need to print, we need to write over the b. So now if we run the code, we are going to get answer as true, as an output as a true on the console. So as you can see, true has been printed over the console. So now if you want to print false to it, then you have to just simply write false, and now console will print false as an output. As you can see, false has been printed. One thing I forgot to tell you is that a semicolon should be typed after every statement, because it tells the compiler that a statement has been ended. So semicolon should be there after every statement. So if I don't put a semicolon in any statement, then it would throw an error over the console. As you can see, a semicolon is expected over the line 14. Can't put in line 14 because the compiler is not knowing that whether the line has been completed or not. So to let it know that the line has been completed, you need to put a semicolon. So with that said, we have completed our part with the variables of the C#. So now in the next lecture, we are going to look at the conditional statements. What are the conditional statements?